Graphene typically costs 200,000 per ton. Now scientists can make it from trash. Graphene is insanely useful but very difficult to produce until now. BigThing.com. The present, January 31, 2020. The new technique developed by at Rice University turns any carbon source into the valuable 2D material in just 10 milliseconds. Key takeaways. Graphene is a lattice of carbon atoms arranged in a chicken wire formation, a structure that makes it very useful for a wide range of applications. However, it's been very difficult and expensive to make. These new techniques cuts down on the costs of and difficulty by flash heating any carbon-based material, such as used coffee grounds or plastic waste. Matt Davis. Recent technology developed at Rice University is taking the idea that one man's trash is another man's treasure to its extreme. Banana peels, coffee grounds, single-use plastic containers, coal, and all of this and more are being turned into one of the most valuable materials around, graphene. Chemist James Storr and his team have developed a rapid process that can transform bulk quantities of junk into flakes of graphene. This is a big deal, said Storr in a Rice University press release. The world throws the world throws out 30% to 40% of all food because it goes bad, and plastic waste is of worldwide concern. We've already proven that any solid carbon-based matter, including mixed plastic waste and rubber tires, can be turned into graphene. A rendering of graphene. Graphene's value is mainly due to its incredible strength and the wide variety of industrial application it possesses. This material consists of a single layer of carbon atoms connected to one another by 6 chemical bonds, creating a lattice that resembles chicken wire. Not only is graphene extremely useful in scientific experiments due to its high reactivity and strength, it can also be added to all sorts of other materials to improve their strength or to make them more lightweight, such as concrete or metals. It is the most conductive material, making it valuable for use as a heat sink sinking, for instance, lead or smartphones. It could also be used in battery technology, in paints, in sensors, and many more. There are quite literally too many applications for this material to cover in this article alone. Despite its high utility, graphene isn't part of our everyday lives yet. Part of the reason why is because of its prohibitive costs. Graphene is difficult to produce in bulk, with the present commercial price of graphene being 67,000 to 200,000 per ton, said Thor. Common techniques include exfoliation, in which sheets of graphene are stripped away from graphite, or chemical vapor deposition, in which methane CH4 is vaporized in the presence of a copper substance that grabs the methane's carbon atoms, arranging them as graphene. The new technique called flash joule heating is far simpler, cheaper, and doesn't rely on any hazard, hazardous solvents or chemicals additives. Simply put a carbon-based material and expose it to 2760 cell degrees heat for just 10 milliseconds. This breaks every material bound in the input material. All atoms aside from carbon turn into gas, which escape in this proof of concept device but could be captured in industrial applications. The carbon, however, resembles itself as a flakes or graphene. What's more, this technique produces so-called turbostatic graphene. Other processes produce what's known as AB stacked graphene, in which half of the atoms in one sheet of graphene lie over the atoms of another sheet of graphene. This results in a tighter bond between the two sheets, making them harder to separate. Turbostatic graphene has no such order between sheets, so they are easier to remove from one another. The most obvious use case for what the researchers have termed flash graphene is to use these graphene flakes, as a component in concrete. By strengthening concrete with graphene, say Thor, we could use less concrete for buildings, and it will cost less to manufacture and less to transport. Essentially, we are trapping greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane that waste food will have emitted and landfills. We are converting those carbons into graphene and adding that graphene to concrete, thereby lowering the amount of carbon dioxide generated in concrete manufacture. It's a win-win environmental scenario using graphene. Concrete is a major application for its material, one that will both be economically and environmentally sound, but many other exist too. As these methods and other for producing graphene is in bulk nature, we can hope to see a future with increasingly stronger, more lightweight, more advanced, and less environmentally destructive materials and technologies.